The biggest threats to Islam Makhachev. That's what we're gonna talk about in this video, man. Yeah, man, I got the do-rag. We're gonna start a new thing, do-rag Kenny. I got a retwist chat. I'm just not jacking it. I'm not jacking the retwist. So, you know, when I get a haircut tomorrow, I'll probably show you guys. But for now, we're do-rag maxing. And I think I'm jacking the do-rag. I think I'm jacking it. But today's video, we are gonna talk about the biggest threats to Islam Makhachev. Now, he's in a predicament where we're hearing a bunch of fights that should happen. Oh, this should happen, this should happen. We all know what probably should happen. The Islam fans were pissed at me, man. Like, in my last video, I wasn't saying anything that wasn't true. Like, I was just being real. One thing about me, I understood this about myself. Like, I'm always going to get hate from every side. People should know I like Islam probably more than half of you guys, you know, watching this. But I get the narrative that you guys want me to just be like, no, Islam is doing the right thing. I think he should just fight Gaethje and stuff. But I'm just, that's not my character, man. I'm sorry, guys. Like, you would never get that from me. Like, if you expect me to get on here and lie for a fight I like, you got the wrong creator, bro. But that being said, bro, let's still get into the biggest threats, because I want to look at these people and, like, I want to categorize them and rank them based on how much of a threat they actually can to beat Islam. First of all, I don't think any of them can beat Islam, but we're going to have to rank them, seeing like how close he comes. Starting off with the number 5 spot, because I got 5 fighters. Justin Gaethje. He's not going to beat Islam, and I think it's going to be low difficulty for Islam Makhachev. I said the leg kicks may be problematic. Like, Justin Gaethje, what he does really well, he didn't really get to do it in the Fiziev fight, because Fiziev did a good job like grabbing his leg kick and kind of checking them and like taking them down off that. But usually Gaethje's leg kick is really problematic, and for people like Islam and Khabib and all these Russian fighters who, like, they do kind of rely on their wrestling, the second you take away that low kick or take away that leg from them from low kicks, they look so miserable, and like their shots become more telegraphed. So that's the only thing that's problematic. That being said, it's not problematic enough to give Islam any kind of like, oh, I'm scared, you know. It's not going to be as easy as a Moicano fight, don't get me wrong, but like Justin Gaethje is just not, he doesn't have that real bad man in him. I know he's he's Mexican, chat. Dale. He's half Mexican. That's why he fights like a marauder and doesn't really fight intelligently. He just goes off heart and will. This guy's almost 40, guys. Like, he's not going to be able to fight at the high level against someone like Islam Makhachev. It just makes no sense. It's not possible. So I don't see it in the slightest. That's why I think Justin Gaethje, at his age, it's just not going to work out for Islam. But unironically, this fight is still being heavily pushed by Islam and his team. And, you know, like I said, people got mad at me in my last video for saying I just think this is a stupid fight. And this is a stupid fight. And if you're an Islam fan saying Gaethje makes sense, you're a stupid guy. You're an idiot. And I'm not going to try to gaslight you guys like Justin Gaethje is going to do something for Islam's career. Yeah, man, if Gaethje wins, it's going to be the most biggest win in Islam's career. Do you guys think with their thinking caps? Everyone put on their do-rag thinking caps. Maybe when the do-rag on, I'm thinking better. Because what are you talking about? How the hell can you think this could do anything? Like, even as this would actually make his legacy worse. There's some fights that literally make your legacy worse. I think if you beat Justin Gaethje, who in his last fight beat someone off a 2-year layoff named Fiziev, and then before that you got face planted by a 145er. Don't start this 145 narrative of, oh my god, I won't fight Ilia because Ilia's 145, but Justin Gaethje makes more sense even though he got slept by a 145er who Ilia slept. Don't say that bullshit to me, because I'm not jacking it. So yeah, Justin Gaethje, bro, I'm sorry. I don't know why you're getting pushed so hard by Islam. Well, I do know, probably because it's low difficulty for Islam, but I'm not getting behind like Khabib and all them saying this fight is going to do something for his legacy because he's a solidified 155er. Yeah, you're solidified your face on the octagon in the 5th round by Max Holloway, a 145er. But moving on for Gaethje, this is the next person I think who's stylistically not really much of a challenge for Islam Makhachev. It's Paddy Pimblett. Goofy striking, decent grappling. Emphasis on the goofy striking and the decent grappling. He doesn't really do anything that could ever cause Islam any kind of stress or trouble. You think he's going to knock out Islam? Let's strike. You think he's going to out-grapple Islam? Let's grapple. Let's wrestle. Stall it then, brother. Stall it. Nothing Paddy Pimblett can do will suffice against Islam Makhachev. It's just this is low diff. It could even be extremely low diff. I do think stylistically, I could say he's a harder challenge for Islam compared to Gaethje, because of course Gaethje's kind of on his way out. I feel like Paddy has momentum. Momentum's real. Like, we didn't see Paddy get flatlined by 145er 2 fights ago, you know. So I feel like Paddy overall with this win streak and everything, I just feel like he has more of a chance to give Islam a more competitive fight. That being said, Islam could beat Gaethje and Paddy in the same night. You give Islam Gaethje and Paddy in one night and watch what happens. Watch how easy he beats both of them. Give Islam like an hour to rest. after he beats up Gaethje and then give him Paddy, he'll beat them very comfortably. I'm telling you right now. Like, for the people who think, oh my god, if Islam beats Gaethje and Paddy, it's gonna do wonders for his resume and legacy, and he's gonna be one of the best. I don't know if you're trolling. I don't know what to like tell you guys. Like, I don't know what you guys see, because I know I want Islam to be great, but I can see the fake Islam fans. They all turned out in my last video. I can see who doesn't want Islam to be great, saying, nah, don't fight Ilia, fight Paddy, he deserves it more. Fight Gaethje. You guys just don't want Islam to be great, so you're not really Islam fans. Or you're either scared of Ilia, or you're not a real Islam fan. Maybe some of you guys are scared of Ilia. I'm not scared of this midget. You know what I'm saying? But you try to push for fights like this that are easy difficulty. You know, just doesn't make sense. And then Islam's team, of course, is just heavily pushing for this. They really want this fight. Oh, Javier Mendez like, oh, Paddy makes sense. Paddy makes sense. He beat Michael Chandler. Who the hell could beat Michael Chandler? I don't know. Let me name this 5 fucking lightweights who beat the fuck out of him. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my goodness, bro. Like, this actually blows my mind that we could actually still be saying this shit in the big 2025. Like, bro, Michael Chandler's just like, he's nothing but like, dude, just give me Michael Chandler. Let me beat him up, then give me a title shot. How about that? Because apparently, you know, people, if I beat up people off 2-year layoff, who's on a 2-year layoff? Right? Give me Conor McGregor, bro. I'll beat him up, all right? I'll beat up Conor. After I beat up Conor, give me a title shot, bro. We just could beat it. Okay, this is the criteria to get a title shot for Islam, or want his team to push for it. If you beat someone coming off a 2-year layoff, you're gonna get the title shot, or if you beat Michael Chandler. Those are the only 2 criteria. You know what I'm saying? If you've done one of those, you're gonna be in the title picture. If you knock out, you know, featherweight goats back to back, you're not gonna get it because we're gonna say you're too small. You know, I get it. It's justified. Like, it makes so much sense, bro. Fucking idiots, bro. Yeah, but yeah, Paddy at number 4. I think Islam destroys him. Islam will beat him up so bad that they're going to delete the footage afterwards, and they're going to vault it, and they're going to hide it, and they're going to make sure it doesn't get aired to the public. This is my opinion. So, yeah, 4, we got Paddy. And now we're in the top 3, though. So now we're starting to get to, like, okay, can they give Islam competitive fights? Well, in the number 3 spot, I still don't think they could give Islam a competitive fight. We got Charles Oliveira. He has solid striking, and he has great grappling, okay? But he's already a past victim of Islam. I don't see him giving Islam much threat. I still think it's low difficulty Islam. And the reason why I said he hasn't really improved, this is going to piss people off because they're going to say, Kenny, what are you talking about? He destroyed Michael Chandler. But I'm starting to realize Michael Chandler's just not that shit. And I'm starting to even look back at Charles' performance against shitty Michael Chandler, who kind of looked exactly the same in the Paddy Pimblett fight. The only difference is Paddy had more of a finishing instinct compared to Charles. So I'm starting to look at Charles like, yeah, you beat Michael Chandler. What'd you do before that again? I forgot. Oh yeah, you lost to Arman Tsarukyan pretty much every round. Like, Arman kind of cooked him. Arman kind of cooked him in that fight. Like, other than the, oh, he almost choked him, or he came out of shorts, that's the only reason he lost. Like, he cooked him. Like, I'm like on some real bad man shit. Like, it wasn't even one of those, oh, back and forth competitive, man. It was kind of just Arman beating him up, then Charles having moments in the fight where he's like, I almost subbed you, so I win. That doesn't count. And people are trying to say Charles won because even though he got beat up and outstruck and out-wrestled, he almost subbed him in a round, so almost submission should win you a fight. You guys are just delusional. Arman cooked him. Arman's good, to be fair. I'm not going to say Arman's a bad fighter. That's embarrassing, but I'm starting to realize, like, when Charles did fight Islam the first time, he was in his prime, riding that win streak, beating up Dustin, Chandler, and Gaethje, and it wasn't a horrible Chandler at the time, you know, but he beat up all the best names, and then he fought Islam, riding all that momentum. Then he got embarrassed. I think it's going to be low diff for Islam as well. Like I said, I don't really take too much from that Chandler fight as much as I would have if Paddy, like, say Paddy got knocked out brutally and Chandler showed skill and showed improvement, then I'll be like, okay, that Charles win, man, that Charles win was actually A1, it was tier 1. But that just didn't happen. Chandler just showed that he's Chandler through and through, you know? And yeah, that win's just aging like butter. But he's being considered by Islam's team. When I say considered, I'm not saying heavily pushed like he's doing with the Paddies and the Gaethjes, because I feel like they can't really heavily push him anymore. At first they were like, okay, whatever, if they give us Charles, we'll fight him. Now it's like there's like, okay, I don't want to mind Charles. He's more of a likely option than Ilia because Charles is a solidified 155er. That whole solidified 155er thing kind of pisses me off, but he's trying to pretty much say that, okay, yeah, well, we could give you Charles because I guess Charles is a fights at 155, but the narrative doesn't make sense to me because Dustin Poirier 145 at first, Charles 145 at first. It just like it just doesn't make sense, does it? Like, it really doesn't. But I see what they're saying. Yeah, he has a 155 career, but in his last 2 fights, he's 1-1. You know, like I would just prefer giving someone undefeated or someone who probably deserves it more. But this is my opinion. I just feel like overall, out of the people and the 5 people being considered for Islam, he isn't like a top 3 spot as far as he's gonna give Islam a challenge of some sort. But I still think Islam gets rid of Charles at this point of his career pretty comfortably. You know, I just think Islam's level is ahead of most of these guys. All right, now we're coming into the final 2, and this is where it gets interesting. The guy who I think gives Islam one of the hardest fights, but not the hardest fight. It's Ilia Topuria. This is where I'm going to throw in the featherweight who doesn't deserve the shot, man. Great striking with solid grappling. I think his grappling is a bit overrated. I'm going to be real because you guys always like, oh, he's going to go in there. He's going to Darce choke Islam. Shut your fucking mouth. This guy's funny because he just talks to talk, but I like it. Like, he's just promoting. Great striking. The guy has great striking, and I feel like he could put Islam in uncomfy exchanges on the feet. He's going to make him uncomfortable, especially Islam's habit of striking. I've been watching Islam striking back chat lately. I was like, holy. He just has weird habits. Like, habits that someone who throws, like, not just 1-2s, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 punch combinations can get someone like Islam put in a bad position. I know Islam's going to land on him. I mean, I know Ilia's going to land on Islam. It's a matter of Islam can take the punch, and I think Islam can take the punch, you know, because he took that nasty punch by Dustin Poirier in the 5th round when Dustin threw all his power into that, and Islam was tired. He wasn't tired, but he just eats these hard shots. You know, I know Ilia's going to land on him. I think Islam's going to eat the punches, but this is going to be a mid to high difficulty fight for Islam. When I say mid, it could be one of those fights where Ilia almost has moments on the feet, but overall, when Islam gets him on the ground, I feel like the strength, the physical strength advantage from Islam Makhachev is going to be a little bit too significant for Ilia. That's really what I want to like draw people to. And yes, Ilia does have way better striking on paper than Islam Makhachev, but Islam does a really good job not getting hit statistically. But statistically, not getting hit doesn't really equate in a stylistic comparison to Topuria, because the reason he doesn't get hit a lot is because his tendency of leaning backwards and his ability to go against people who don't really pair up punches well on the front foot. I think Ilia, oddly enough, out of everyone in UFC, arguably history, he has the best combos coming forward. Usually people have good combos, you know, like in stationary positions or moving backwards, but when he's coming forward, he's not going to just throw 1, 2, 3s, or like he's just going to extend his combination, and that's what ends up getting like him catching people like Maxi. That's how he knocked out Max. That's how he knocked out Volk. His extension of his combinations, and at the end of them, always catching people with the overhand or the big hook. It's what hurts them and what rocks them. So Islam has to change that habit of leaning backwards, or he's going to get caught. Like I said, he's going to get hit in this fight. I'm not an idiot, but it's a matter of Islam could take it. And I know Islam could take it. Pause. I don't go bad, man. But Islam team does not want this. Like, of course, like this is the first time we're getting to the mid-high difficulties for Islam, and his team's not really pushing for it. And I think, like I said, out of the other guys that just named prior to this, Ilia does more for his resume. Like, I don't care what anyone says. You can't convince me Charles Oliveira would do more for Islam's resume. 1, he already beat him, and 2, he's 1-1 in his last 2 fights. You know, it doesn't make sense. You can't tell me Gaethje deserves it more. Gaethje would be more important than this win when Gaethje got flatlined by 145 2 fights ago last year. What are we talking about? Like, what are we being? There's no way we're being real. We can't say Paddy, because Paddy beat Chandler, a bum, who hasn't won a fight in 9 years. Like, what are we talking about? Like, so this is why you guys can still, Islam fans can hate me for saying this. You could be like, oh, I hate you, Kenny. How dare you say something that's true, but I don't want to hear. I don't care if you hate me. I really don't give 2 shits. I'm just saying the truth. This does more for Islam's resume than anyone I just mentioned. And if people make the 145 excuse after Ilia loses to Islam, because he's going to lose to Islam, I'm just going to be like, okay, cry about it. You can say I can say the 145 excuse for Charles if he beats him. You know, all these guys. Like, what are we saying, bro? Just the 145 excuse doesn't have any validity, especially if the guy you're pushing for is Gaethje to get the title shot when he was slept by a 145er. Stop that 145 shit. He walks around on 180. He's too big. He said he's not even going to ever fight that weight class again, so he's too big for the weight class. He's not a featherweight anymore. Stop that narrative. I'm done with it. It's bullshit. So he is a mid to high difficulty fight for Islam, but Islam's still going to put the beats on him like Dr. Dre. Hands on him. Lots of bass. And I will never, ever turn my back on Islam. This is this is one of my favorite fighters. I love Ilia too. I guess that's why, since I'm very like, I like both fighters and I see the good in both, I feel like people don't like that. They want me to pick a side. No. The only side I'm going to pick is when they fight, I'm going to go Islam. But the whole build-up and shit, I'm going to call out bullshit. And if you call like weird behavior, and his team seems like they're ducking the Topuria fight. Not Islam, but his team. And that leads me to the number 1 spot. Stylistically, Arman Tsarukyan is just the hardest fight for Islam because he's good everywhere. Now, Ilia, you could say he's good everywhere, but not to the extent that Arman Tsarukyan is, because Arman is proven in the grappling, and he's proven the striking. We don't talk about Arman Tsarukyan striking enough, I feel like, in my opinion. We just don't mention his striking. I don't know why. It's actually very good. I feel like people should talk about it more. His striking is one of the best I've ever seen. And it's in addition to the fact he's physically strong, and I feel like that's something Ilia is going to be missing when he fights him. And I feel like since we know Arman already has a physical strength advantage, so we can't say he's just going to get ragdolled by Islam, especially this time around, because because even since his debut, he put on a lot of muscle, man. His debut, he wasn't as physically strong, so the grappling exchange is going to be interesting in this fight. The striking as well, because Arman's striking has improved. Arman's not the same fighter he was in his debut. Don't get it twisted for a second. This guy's the hardest fight for Islam. You know, he will give Islam a very competitive fight. Even on the build-up, I was saying, this fight's not going to be one-sided for Islam. I got Islam winning, but I know it's going to be a war. He's going to have to earn it against someone like Arman Tsarukyan, who has shown significant improvement. You know, Arman still has like his little flaws. Sometimes when he wrestles too much, he fatigues a little bit quicker. You know, I think Islam could take advantage of that, but I feel like they will grapple in their rematch when they do it, or if it happens. So this is definitely a high difficulty fight for Islam. This is not no walk in the park. You know, even there's a world where Islam can make quick work of Ilia and quick work at everyone else on this list, but there's not a single world he can make quick work at Arman. I just don't see it happening. Arman is like, he doesn't have quit in him either. Some people like get pressured or get put in a submission and they kind of surrender. Arman, respectfully, like, I'll give him respect here, even though sometimes, oh, my dad's money, I don't need this shit, I can retire. Shut your mouth, kid. But like, he doesn't have quit. Like, he's actually a dog. He's a fighter, man. He's a fighter. He's not going to be weird. He's not going to be scared. So I respect that about him as well. And I feel like that's important to going against Islam, because if shit gets tough, like if both guys are in a war, I know Islam's not going to stop and back down, and neither is Arman Tsarukyan, which makes for this going to be a very hard fight for both guys. I see Arman going balls to the wall. Same with Islam. It's going to be very competitive. I still got Islam winning, of course, you know, but I'm not deluded to the fact that there's a possibility Arman could beat Islam. There's a possibility. It'll definitely be a competitive fight, but it's just that Islam seems to be better everywhere than Arman, even though Arman's good everywhere, if that makes sense. It's almost like a watered down version of Islam. Like everything Arman does, Islam does to a better extent, but stylistically they fight very different, especially on the feet. Arman's a little bit more kick oriented, where I feel like Islam is a little bit more, let me lean out the way and try to counterpunch you. I'm actually curious to see how this new version of Arman strikes with Islam, because I'm pretty sure early Arman's going to have the speed advantage, so that would be very interesting to look at. And then Islam's team's just not too interested, but rightfully so, because you kind of fucked up the event last time. So like, you know, I don't mind them not showing interest. And Islam like is kind of prevalent on like how he hates rematches and he doesn't want to fight Charles again and Arman again. You know, I guess maybe that's why he's pushing for the Gaethje fight, because he hasn't fought him, but he hasn't fought Ilia too, so it doesn't really make sense to me. But yeah, he's gonna have to fight him. Listen, if they don't book the Ilia fight, this is the only other acceptable fight, because I feel like it actually does something for his legacy. Don't get it twisted. When Khabib says we need a solidified 155, but that's gonna do the most for his legacy, it's not true. What's gonna do the most for your legacy is not just any 155er who's been a veteran in the game. It's someone like Arman Tsarukyan. That's a solidified 155er who deserves it, because he beat Charles already. He beat these guys already. You know, so he actually does something for Islam's resume and his legacy. And as an Islam fan, I want his legacy to be the best possible way. That's why I always root for him to go against the best possible competition like Ilia Topuria, Arman Tsarukyan. And if you're in the comments saying anything otherwise, I don't give a hell, bro. Real bad, man. I don't care, boy. Yeah, brother, like, you see these, bro. I don't care at all. You know, there's only two fights that should be made. It's Ilia or Arman. No matter what we make, though, no matter what fight we make, we're gonna get it done and we're gonna win, bro. Islam's just on a different level. Let's be real. But let me know what you guys think down below about who's the hardest fight. I think everyone should agree it's Arman. Or maybe some people are going to say it's Ilia, but I don't think Ilia's physical attributes are going to be enough to compete with Islam Makhachev. But that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and God bless. 2, 3.